Assalamu alaikum viewers. This is Dr. Abdul Rahman. Very delighted to have you today join us for this very important session. We are going to be talking about stretching exercises for health. This is very important because sometimes we got a lot of problems when we don't stretch properly. So we have for you a very seasoned and experienced person, Mahveen Moiz. She has worked with us before. She is a experienced physiotherapist and will be helping us to learn how to stretch properly. The session will go on for about um, 25 minutes or so, and there will be a session for 5 minutes after for question answer. So if you have any questions, please do send us. You can put it in the question answer section, or you can, if you're watching through the YouTube, you can also put your questions there, and we'll be able to pick up your questions, and we should be able to uh, answer those questions during the session, hopefully within time. So without any further delay, I will pass it on to Mahveen Moiz, a physiotherapist, and she will carry on from here. Welcome, Mahveen.
Thank you, Dr. Rahman. Hello and welcome everyone to our mobility session with me. My name is Mahveen Moiz. I am a physiotherapist working in Calgary. So stretching is an important part of exercise. Most of the times we forget to stretch, which leads us into injuries, strains, or stiffness. Staying at home during the lockdown, most of us have been working from home, using our dining tables or countertops as our working platforms, which are not ergonomic, which has been leading to stiffness in our neck, back, shoulder blades. So I will be showing you some stretches that you can counter and help with some stretching into the upper area. I have converted these two topics that we will be doing. Today we are focusing on upper body stretching, neck, shoulders, and mid-back. Okay. And I have divided it into two segments. First segments I'm sitting, and the second segment is the wall series. The first is the sitting series, and second is the wall series. So why is stretching important to us? It prevents injuries, like Dr. Rahman pointed out. It helps improve blood flow, flexibility in our muscles. It reduces the stress on our joints, which is most important because when abnormal muscles, if you have one tightness in a particular muscle group, it is putting undue stress on the joints. So when we can remove all these abnormal forces, we can realign and protect our joints from getting deteriorated. So let's get into it. I would like you to get into a sitting position that is comfortable for you, either cross-legged or behind. If you cannot sit on the ground, you can even sit on the chair and follow along as much as you can in this series. So first, let's try to get positive thoughts into our body, focus on your breathing, and realign our thoughts to our body. Stretching also reduces stress and anxiety and helps us sleep better. So first of all, let's just start with deep breathing, hands to chest, either folded, clasped, whatever works for you. Smell a rose through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. So smell a rose and breathe out through your mouth. That's the deep breathing technique I want you to follow, as simple as that, to collect your thoughts and focus on stretching. Let's start by putting our hands out. The first stretch is focused on the neck. We put our hands to our heart center. As we inhale, we will go up and back, and as we exhale, we can come out of this position and focus on stretching in here, okay? So, important thing to notice first before I start, please do not do any stretch that is painful for you. Please refer to your physiotherapist or your doctor if you have any shoulder injuries, neck injuries, any impingements. Do whatever you can, respect your body, and if there is any pain, please stop. With that, let's get our hearts to heart center. As we inhale, we will go up and back as much as we can and come back slowly. Now we can move our hands out. Inhale. As you exhale, go up and back. Feel the stretch in the front of your chest and on your neck. We come back to heart center, and our hands are clasped back. I will show you stretches for demonstration purposes for a few seconds, but I would like you to build up on the stretches and hold them for at least 10 to 15 seconds. Secondly, we clasp our hands behind our neck, shoulders and elbows pulled back, almost a little bit of a thrust, but not a big thrust. Just a little bit of a thrust. Inhale, and as you exhale, chin to chest and elbows together. I will show you from the side. Hands clasped back. Inhale, a little bit of a pull, and as you exhale, chin to chest and elbows together. One important thing here is I do not want you to crouch. I do not want to see this. You should be nice and tall during the stretch when you're doing chin to chest. Coming back, hands to heart center. Please align your breath with your stretches. It is very important to align your breathing with your stretching. That will help to calm you down, bring your energy back, and focus better on stretching. Next, one hand out, right hand out, going across to the other side. Using your left hand, hook above the elbow, below the elbow, whatever works for your body. And we pull the right hand towards our chest. You should feel a slight subtle stretch at the top of your shoulder. Holding it for a few seconds, make sure you do not stop breathing. We go to the other hand, left hand out, across to the shoulder, hook with the right hand, and pull, squeeze until you feel a good stretch in the top of your shoulder blade. For a few seconds, hold that, then we let it go. Next, let's do some tricep stretching. When we are typing on the computer, using a mouse a lot, cutting, chopping, doing repetitive movements, this part of the body gets really tight. So let's stretch that out. So hand over and back to the opposite shoulder blade. It could be here, here, or here. Depends on how flexible you are. So make sure you work with your body. The other hand goes over and holds right at the top. And push it down a little bit. With this hand, we're pushing the elbow a little bit down towards our back. If you don't feel a lot of stretch, let's add a little bit more. Just lean away from the other side. It adds that component of stretching a little bit into the shoulder blade as well. We hold for a few seconds, then we come back. Next, the other hand over, back to the top of the shoulder blade, opposite hand onto the elbow, and we push. And we hold for a few seconds, and then to add a little bit more, we lean away. That adds a little bit of a spinal component and stretching into your chest wall as well. You come out, roll your shoulders a little bit, make sure there's no tension in them. Move your neck a little bit in different directions, and we come back to the next stretch. For this one, we will push. We're sitting with our feet back. We're sitting on our knees, feet back. If this does not work for you, you can always put a pillow under your bum between your heels. So that's not stressful for your legs. Now, one hand we keep right behind our hips. The other goes over to the top of the shoulder, neck, and ear. We are pushing away with this hand and we are pulling away with this hand. So push down with this right hand, which is behind your hip, and pull away. Hand on your shoulder and then across over to the other ear. Make sure you're not rolling forward, twisting your neck. It's just a pure sideways movement. I'll show you from the back with the other hand. One hand right behind the hip, the other over to the top of the shoulder and then to the ear, and then pull away. Push with this hand and pull with this hand. Hold for a few seconds and then let go. This stretches the upper part of the neck out, which gets tight. Now for a deeper stretch right into this area, we take this hand at the back, pull the wrist down. The hand is just completely rested. Pull the wrist down and then look away. Hold for a few seconds. Let's do the opposite side. Take the hand back, pull the hand, pull the wrist, and then just look away. Side, ear to shoulder. Again, make sure you're not bending down, you're not turning your neck, just ear to shoulder. You will feel a little bit of a deeper stretch right into this muscle belly at the top of your neck and shoulder junction. This is very important for people who work on the computer, which are working 6 to 8 hours on our meetings and constantly moving neck and rolled forward, shoulders and chin is tucked in. You're on your computer, your iPad, or you're constantly working forward. You need to do these stretches to make sure your spine is well aligned and you're not getting a hump in your back. Okay, let's move on to a little bit into deeper part of these muscles. I want you to come in a tabletop position where your knees are under your hips and your hands are under your shoulders. The back is flat, it is not out or slouch or crouch. Just a nice flat back in a tabletop position. For the first stretch, we will put our hands up and over. The hand goes up and over. Your head follows the hand and you look at your thumb. So up and over and open up your chest. As you come back, we take this hand and we thread it through in between the space between your knee and your hand. So hand up and back and just thread it through and let the hand at the top go forward. You can go all the way down. Make sure you do not slide back. You're still up and your hand is crossed over and the forward hand slides as much as you can, feeling an opener. This is a shoulder opener. And you stay here for a few seconds. Make sure to not stop breathing and align yourself with your breath. Then we come out of this position again into tabletop. This hand goes up, it's an opener. So you might be restricted here, doesn't matter. Wherever you're comfortable, you will open up and look in the direction of the thumb. Focus on the thumb. Make sure your neck is directed towards the thumb and you open and look as much as you can towards the ceiling in the back corner of. And then when we are done, we get this hand down, thread it back again in between the opposite knee and the hand, and we look away in the other direction. The forward hand slides out to make space and we look away. This is a good stretch for people who have shoulder, rotator cuff, and shoulder blade stiffness. People who have a little bit of a hunchback, people who are working repetitive jobs with repetitive strains, like we are shoveling nowadays, and we only have 4 more months of snow, but we have to look forward to it and we have to do it. So shoveling, pushing, lifting, this is the muscle that gets really tight. So we need to make sure we stretch it out. This was stuck on the ground. Now let me go back and I will show you some stretch on the upper area in the wall series. Now, I need to focus a little bit on the shoulder blade and pecs. So, muscles in the front of the chest wall are called pecs. The pecs and the shoulder blades, they work 50-50 together to maintain a neutral spine. If we are always working in front, our shoulders get rolled forward, we get a little bit of a hump, and our chin is pointing forwards. That is not the right alignment of the spine. So we need to make sure this is working 50-50. So now let's focus on this quadrant to stretch our muscles out and going into a little bit of a deeper stretch. All we need is a wall. So just make sure you're next to a wall. You're standing with feet are hip width apart. Your hip is almost touching the wall, not quite yet, but your foot, the right foot that is closest to the wall, is touching the wall. To start the stretch, we take our hand back and we swing it back. Throughout the stretch, make sure that the shoulder and the hand is always touching the wall. Do not peel away from the wall just because it doesn't feel right or to get into a different alignment. That's very important. Feet are hip width apart for good balance. Hands are out, web spaces out. So it could be here, here, or here, wherever you're comfortable. Depends on how tight you are. You can put your hand out. Make sure again the shoulder is touching the wall, and then you look away as if you're turning your body away from the wall, but without losing contact with your shoulder and your hand. You should feel a nice burning stretch right in this area, the front of the chest wall and the front of the shoulder. You should feel a nice burning stretch. Now, because of any shoulder dislocations, people who have had any shoulder dislocations, rotator cuff tears, and any impingements might find this very uncomfortable. So, an easier way to do the same stretch without causing too much stress on your shoulder, you need to cactus your arms. We call it cactus arms. So instead of going straight, you just bend your elbow and your elbow is facing down. Bend your elbow, bring your elbows up, fingers are pointing down, and then you can do the same stretch. Shoulder in contact with the wall and just look away in the opposite direction towards the other corner of the room. Hold it for a few seconds until you feel a nice deep stretch. So this is an alternative version of doing this. Do whatever feels good for your body. Second, come a little bit away to about 4 to 5 inches away from the wall, and you still hip width apart, and your hand will just go straight up, and then we lean into the wall. The goal is to touch the hip to the wall. So we are a few inches away from the wall, hand going up, fingers left spaced out for better support, and then we just lean into the wall to feel a better stretch. Again, on the ground we did a opener. This is one of the openers for the shoulder on the wall. I will just show you from the side, in the front, what is the movement. My hand is touching on the wall, and then I just lean away, touching my hip onto the wall. If again, this is too much for you, I would like you to just bend your elbow, touch your shoulder blade right here, and then with the shoulder in a nice aligned position, you're sliding your elbow. Slide your elbow up the wall until you're able to touch the hip. Make sure you do not bend your neck or you turn or look away. Again, leaning away with the elbow pointing up and then pulling yourself back. So this is an opener for the back of your shoulder blade and neck. Next, let's do something that will give a stretch from here to here and in between the shoulder blades. So I will be facing the wall for this one. My back will be towards you. Let me explain a little bit. Hands will go forward and we will peel ourselves away from the wall, walking our feet step by step back. Make sure you don't crouch or slouch. Tuck in your core, tuck in your tailbone for good form, and then we will start into the stretch until your ears are in between your shoulders or until you feel a good deep stretch. Okay, let's start. Hands at the top, feet are hip width apart, slide down and pull yourself back as much as you can. And this should feel like a nice, comfortable stretch. It should take away a little bit of tension away from your legs as well. If you're tight in your lower half, you should feel a stretch right in through your hamstrings as well, but a nice leaning stretch until your ears are in between the shoulders or a little bit down, whatever your flexibility is. An alternative version of doing the same stretch and a little bit deeper is going on your knees. Hands at the top or hands together, either works. And then you slide down, peel yourself away, and go down into a deeper stretch until you feel you're comfortable enough to feel the stretch right from here to here. You might go down all the way, you might go down halfway, Again, make sure you work your way through whatever works for your body. So the sideways version of the same stretch, your arms are here, clasped together, and then you peel yourself, your body away until your neck is right under your shoulders or your ears are in line with the shoulders, and you stay there for a few seconds until you feel a good stretch, and then peel away from the wall. Now let's do a sideways stretch. This is called a lateral stretch. Feet are hip width apart. You're standing a little bit away from the wall, and then you slowly put your hand out and push yourself out. So you're basically touching the wall with your web space, hands spread out in your web space, shoulder distance apart. Hands can be 90, a little bit lower than 90, but do not go over 90. Okay? Make sure you're either 90 or a little bit under 90, whatever works with your shoulder. So shoulders are in line, hands in line with the shoulder. You're standing with your hip width apart. The other hand with the thumb leading, we go sideways, and the goal is to touch the wall. It depends how flexible you are. You might be able to reach the wall, or you might not be able to reach the wall. The point is to start stretching, getting into a habit where you're starting to stretch for 5 to 10 seconds, then building it up to 15 to 20 seconds and doing a few repetitions on each side. I'll just show you a front version of what I did on the wall. So I'm standing with my hand on the wall, arm distance out, either 90 or a little bit less than 90, making sure I have good balance. Leading with the other hand, thumb up. And then I just go sideways, and then I try to touch. So this is a lateral stretch which extends from here to all the way here into your mid-lower back. Okay. Then away from the wall, we'll do one standing stretch for the shoulder blades. We have done for the in front of the shoulder. Now it's time to focus a little bit into between our shoulder blades. So there are 3 versions of this. I will show you the beginner version, the intermediate version, and the deeper version of this. Hands are hip width apart, elbows straight, hands are clasped together. Now some people have a little bit of tightness and their elbows might be a little bit bent because either they might not be able to reach the back or they have some impingement. That works too. But if you are comfortable, elbows straight, hand clasped back, and resting on your glutes. The starting phase of this stretch is we shrug back. Make sure you're not doing this. We squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. We are not shrugging. As you are squeezing the shoulder blades, make sure you squeeze and you go down and not up, because that's where most of the tension rests. That is not good form. Make sure hands are clasped back on the bum, shoulders squeeze and down. Either you can rest here, or if you are comfortable, you can peel your hands away from your glutes and go a little bit here. For people who are more flexible and can go more deeper, then you keep peeling your shoulders away from your body and you keep going down as much as you can, depending on your flexibility. Some people can even reach and curl up their heads right onto their knees. That depends on your flexibility. So we started right here, we peeled ourselves out all the way, slowly making sure the form is good. I am not slouching here, I am not twisting, I am just following my spine, peeling away slowly, step by step, until I can go no more. I rest there for a few seconds, and then you come back. For people who have carpal tunnel, tendonitis in the elbow, called tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, or any impingement in the nerve because of carpal tunnel, repetitive work, people who work in a kitchen, who are chefs, who chop a lot, people who are doing repetitive mouse work, or any kind of wrist or elbow work. People have numbness and tingling in their hand. I will show you 2 stretches on the wall that really helps to take care of that. I recommend that to all my tendonitis patients. The two ways to stretch: arm out, both the time the fingers are pointing down and the hands are on the wall. So again, arm out all the way, 90 degrees or a little bit higher, whatever works for you, and then just look in the opposite direction and hold. My hand is on the wall, so the pressure is given to this by the wall. You can do it by pushing it too, but you will feel a better stretch if you're on the wall, standing straight, arm on the wall, and then you pull yourself a little bit higher and you look away. You will feel a little bit of tingling in the forearm. If you have a lot of stiffness, you will feel it right away. For the similar stretch on the outer side, you just turn your hand down. Make sure in both the stretches, the fingers are pointing down. They're facing out in one stretch, they're facing in one stretch. So the other stretch, you will just bend your wrist against the wall, take it a little bit higher, make sure your hand doesn't peel away a lot from the wall, and then you look in the opposite direction. This is a nerve flossing technique for people who have tendinitis in their arm, either outside or either inside. Make sure you drink lots of water, hydrate yourself, and you stretch either before your bedtime or before your workout, whatever works for you, and make sure you always coordinate it with your breath. Thank you. Looking forward to the next session. Back to you, Dr. Rahman.
Thank you very much. This was amazing. I think I need these exercises on a daily basis. Sometimes we really don't pay attention to some of these things, but I think in our everyday life, I think these are important. So we probably have time for a few questions, and maybe one. It's 7:27 according to my watch. So one important question that has come up is, children sometimes sit in their bed and they're using laptop, and what will be your advice? Is this advisable? And if they are there, what do they need to do to make sure that they are not slouching all the time and causing problems in their back muscles and their bones?
One thing they can do is they can put a few pillows so they're at least not slouching like this. There is some back support, so they're sitting straight, and making sure the laptop or the digital device or the book is not on their laps. Make sure you have either a sit desk or a pillow, so at least they're facing at 90 degrees. Their elbows are rested and they're looking at eye level. They don't have to bend down to look at the digital device or the book. Something should be propped up on something, so they're looking a little bit at eye level. That will help to reduce the tension in this neck and shoulder blade area.
Thank you very much. Obviously, there are some other issues putting the laptops on the pillows that can get heated up because
yes,
sometimes we know that laptops need circulation. So that is also important, right?
People can get those and times, yeah, they have those sit desks which are meant for laptops, or they can prop it up on some wooden surface that they can help to do that. I went a little bit quickly through my stretches. You all can refer it back on the All Sports Alberta Foundation website or the YouTube channel, and then you can incorporate them and hold them for a little bit longer.
Thank you very much. There's one other question, if you can squeeze that in quickly. Can you please confirm when stretching should be done, after work or before workout?
Stretching to calm yourself down with regular meditation can be done at any time. But if you are training, you should stretch after you've done a little bit of a jog or a walk, because your body and your muscles need to be warmed up. You cannot stretch them cold. If you're doing a light stretching, like a more breathing, meditation, yoga kind of stretching, you can do it at the start of the day. But if you're strengthening and you're training, like for running and for athletes, it should always be done after a warm-up. Either a brisk walk, a little bit of a jog, and then you can do it after to cool down the muscles as well.
Thank you. I think the person who asked the question has responded. Much appreciated. So I think this was an important question. So thank you very much. And for the audience, This is available on All Sports Alberta Foundation's YouTube channel. Please visit the channel, make sure you like it, and you get the notification on, making sure that we are able to bring these programs to you. We need your feedback. Please do give us your feedback either on the YouTube channel or in other way possible through our Facebook account. We also have multiple groups, but specifically go to all Alberta Foundation's page and you can give us your feedback. Thank you very much, and we hope to bring Mahveen again for many other programs. I think today was about the upper body, but I think we need also the rest of the body looked after. So thank you very much once again, and we appreciate your time and your energy. And I especially want to thank ASAF leadership, particularly Zafar Yusufi, who was our IT guru in the background, and Mohammed Pasha, our president, and rest of our team who have been helpful in bringing these programs. And we'll hope to see you again. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Look after yourself well. And those who don't know, we do have activities, competition going on, so join that. As well as if you're not there, you can have regular activity anyway. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. As Mahveen pointed out, hydration is very, very important. Thank you very much. And inshallah,
looking forward to the lower body session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Mahveen. So the next session is on next Wednesday, December 23rd. So join us at 7 p.m. Wednesday, December 23rd.
Thank you. Same time, a week later. Thank you very much. Good night.